Hey everyone, I'm THPine and welcome to Kaboom Monsters. What is Kaboom Monsters, you ask? I like to call it a victory point based collectible card monster combat game. It's gonna be available in Steam Early Access on the 7th of July and this is what it looks like. So it's a collectible card game, but it's a little different from what you usually see. So we have a hand of 3 cards over here, and every turn we're gonna play one of those cards, which are representing monsters or warriors of some sort, on the game board over here. And as you can see, our opponent has 2 cards over here already, and we're gonna try to fight those. Monsters fight with the power values surrounding them on the edges of the card, and they fight basically in the direction, like they fight in all the directions when you place them when there is an opponent. So if you place this guy over here, he's gonna fight this elemental over here with his strength on the right, and the elemental will defend with his strength on the left. So we have 8, he has 3, so we're gonna win the fight, which will turn the elemental to one of our cards and give us a victory point. And as mentioned, the game is victory point based, so if you either have 10 victory points or the game ends and you have more victory points than your opponent, you win. But we're gonna talk about win conditions a little bit more later. So now our opponent played a card which actually did not fight at all. So that's good for us because this means he didn't got a victory point. So now it's our turn again, and we're gonna try to conquer one of his cards again. So let's see. He has an orc over here with a 7 to the bottom and a 9 to the top. That's quite vulnerable. So we could, for example, place the alien below it to conquer it, or we could place this robo death machine or whatever to the right of the orc, which would actually conquer the orc. However, the problem with this is that the orc then turns to one of our cards and is pretty vulnerable again because he has 2 weak sides, so it's probably pretty easy for our opponent to take it back. So maybe there's a better option. I'm not sure if there is. Doesn't look great. We could take this guy with the alien, but this leaves us with the 7 to the left, which is not great either. I think we're just gonna go for an orc with probably the robo machine from the... Oh, we can't do that. Alien from the top, that's as bad as putting the alien here. Even worse, actually. Alien to the bottom. That still makes it vulnerable. I think what we're actually going to do is we put the robot here. No, actually that's a bad idea. I was thinking this is a good idea because it leaves the orc with 2 vulnerable sides. So if our opponent picks one, we can take the other one again and turn it back. But it actually leaves the robot with a really vulnerable side to the top as well. So we're not going to do that. So I guess our best bet is to just take the wizard over here. By placing the alien up here, which makes us vulnerable up there, but it gives us the wizard. The wizard just exploded. Okay, why did it explode? Well, there's a 5th stat on every card on the upper left corner, and that's the lifetime of the card. Basically, after every of your turn, all the cards you played originally on the board will decrease their lifetime by 1, and after every of your opponent's turns, the cards he played will be decreased by 1. Not the cards he owns right now, but the cards he played originally. So this is the number of turns those cards will be alive. And after that, when they turn to 0, and then the next turn, basically, they will explode and empty another slot on the board. So our opponent played this orc and took the alien, which is pretty bad because we cannot attack the alien, and we have another vulnerable side down here, which is pretty bad as well. But maybe we can get a double kill up here. No, we can't. We don't have a strong attack to the bottom. That's unfortunate because you can turn more than 1 card in one turn, and you can turn cards per turn. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's call it flipping cards, shall we? So you can flip more than 1 card per turn, which is the best way of actually winning the game because you gain 1 victory point per card flipped. So yeah, you want to flip 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 cards if possible in 1 turn. So what we're gonna do instead is we can only take the orc from here. Oh, we get a double here. Perfect. There we go. That gives us double. Great. That's really good. Let's hope he cannot counter it. He only got 1 card, so we are ahead now. We have 6 victory points, which is good. Okay, so when do you win the game? Either when you get 10 victory points, that's instant victory. Or when the game ends and you have more victory points than your opponent. And the game ends in 2 different ways. Either if the game board fills up completely and no cards explode, so one player cannot play a card. That happens if you play, or if both of you play a lot of cards with a low lifetime, because then they explode quicker and... with high lifetimes, there we go. Then they will not explode and they will fill up the game board eventually and the game will end. Or when... both players run out of cards. You have a card of 50 or up to 15 cards. You don't have to fill the deck up completely. And when you run out of cards, well, you cannot play anymore. If both players run out of cards, the match ends, and whoever has more victory points wins. On a draw in the single player campaign, which we are playing right now, you lose on a draw, so you always have to have more than your opponent. So what's our next move here? We cannot take the alien. We cannot actually take the orc. So I guess our best bet is to play this down here. This is actually pretty good because it's pretty well defended as well. So yeah, that's good. But even if it would not be good, well defended, not turning a card or not flipping a card in a turn is usually a bad idea because it brings you that, like, it doesn't give you the, if you get a card and the opponent gets a card back in his turn, that just gives like restores the victory point situation from before, so you don't lose anything. If you don't play a card, or if you don't flip a card in a turn, your opponent does on the next turn, then he's actually ahead. So yeah, it's usually better to actually flip a card, even if it gets you in a vulnerable situation, if it doesn't allow your opponent to flip 2 cards, obviously. So now we can't flip a card because the only open side of his cards is this alien up here with 15, which we cannot actually take. So we're just gonna set up a defense. Those cards still all have a pretty high lifetime still. So this one is gonna explode. So we probably want to put a card down here with a high amount of defense to the top. So he hopefully plays a card here, and we can potentially get a card in here. Actually, he has to play a card there because this was exploding after his turn, not after my turn. So we cannot get a double here, unfortunately, because we're not strong enough to take the orc. But we can take the dog with any of our cards, actually. So we're probably gonna play the Yeti here, which brings us to 7 victory points. Back to 6, but we're still in the running here. And that's another double. Great. That's really good. We're gonna do that. We could place the orc instead, which has stronger defense values, which might be important because this one is exploding soon. This one is exploding soonish as well. Actually, it has an 8 to the bottom, though. And yeah, let's go with the elemental. I think that's better. Also, now we're gonna talk about that later. Let's just finish the match for now. So we're in a pretty good position because he could not actually take the elemental back, which is great. And now we can place a card down there. So I guess, which one do we play? Probably the orc because he has a better defense to the right, where the alien is, which explodes soonish. There we go. And we're in a pretty decent position right now. It looks like we're winning. Let's play the elemental arm to take the spear guy. And do we get another double maybe? No, we don't have enough attack to the top. Oh, maybe we get a double. Yeah, we get a double over here. With all of our cards, actually. That's pretty good. Let's pick this one, because it's the least useful of the cards, I guess. That actually just wins us the game. So there we go. Doesn't matter which card we pick. There we go. That was good. That was actually surprisingly good. This mission was actually pretty tough when I lost it a few times before. So I'm happy we won that. Cool. So here are the rewards. You get a new card, which is pretty shit, actually. That's one of the weaker cards. Then you get crafting materials, which you can use to craft weapons and shields, which I'll explain in a moment. And you get juice, which allows you to, well, buy things, multiple things. We're going to talk about that as well. This is the mission map. And what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about all the other progression system, or all the other mechanics, like the progression system in the game, and then like in the end we're going to play another match to wrap this up properly. So let's talk about things, shall we? So we have either the sidebar over here, or we can go to the county, which allows us to access all those things as well. There's the wizard over here. This is the tavern, the map, which, yeah, it's a tavern, which brings us to the map. Then we have the market over here, and the market actually includes the smith, which is a little weird. The smith doesn't have its own building, but it's shown as its own slot over here to the sidebar, which is weird. And this is the arena over here. So we can click on the wizard, for example. And the wizard allows you to actually merge cards to form stronger cards. So we can put in there 3 cards of the same card, which you actually can't because I don't have right now, which is a little unfortunate. And wait, actually we got one of the aliens. Oh no, we don't have 3 of the same aliens. Do we? No, we don't. That's actually a stronger version of the alien. It's still not very strong, but it's a little better than the others at least. And basically, yeah, if you merge 3 of the same card, you will create a stronger version of those cards. So 3 of the weak aliens get become one of the stronger aliens. And if you merge them as 3 of those, you get an even stronger version, and so on and so on. And there maybe are other combinations as well, because you can put different cards in here. And it usually just shows this abomination with 0 strength to every side, though. So that's not what you want to do. And there's no hint in what you could like combine. So I don't know. Yeah, I actually don't know if you can do anything. Maybe you can do something with the chicken. No, don't put that card in here. Ugh. I cannot replace it anymore. That seems... There we go. What? That was weird. That was a little weird. Let's actually see if we can... Like, there's a hint that you can do magic things with the chicken, or there's a secret with the chickens, but it's apparently not about merging cards. So, I don't know. Maybe through merge 3 chickens or whatever. But, yeah. So, that's the merging. That's what the wizard is about. In the book, you can actually get a collection of all the cards, but I don't think it shows you what you have to merge to get them, so yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, but only if you know the recipe, I guess. Yeah, if you know the recipe, it actually shows you, so there we go. And that's the rarity, for some reason. In general, we should talk about the map really shortly, really quickly again. This is, as mentioned, there's a single-player campaign, and it's good that the game has a single-player campaign. I applaud indie games or small projects that focus on single-player. There's multiplayer as well, but it's not implemented yet, but there's multiplayer, or it's supposed to be multiplayer as well. But it has a single-player campaign, and this is the main focus of the game, which is cool for an indie game, because usually if they're multiplayer focused, they die out pretty quickly. So, yeah, there we go. There is a story involved here, but it's told through a couple of pictures without any text. And there are not a lot of pictures. So I'm not actually sure what's going on there. It's very minor anyway. You can just ignore it for the most part. Well, completely if you want to. Yeah, I don't know. It feels a little bit added on. It's kind of cute, but I don't know. It's just a bunch of pictures which didn't make too many sense to me, at least so far. So I don't know, that's the story. Okay, so that was a wizard. Let's talk about the smith, shall we? The smith allows you to craft items. I didn't explain them during the game, but I'm gonna show you now. So you have offensive items, which are there's 3 weapons right now. You can unlock more by playing the campaign. And defensive items, I unlocked 2 so far: the shield and the spiked shield. And basically you craft them with the crafting materials, or you can buy them for juice. And if you equip them, which you can do in the deck selection screen, you give your cards a bonus. Weapons will give you an offensive bonus, obviously, which means your card will have improved stats when you place it. So the cudgel, which is the weakest of the weapons, will give you +1 on every side for the moment you attack. After that, those stats will decrease to the original values. And the shields are the opposite. They don't give you a bonus for attacking, but after you place the card, its stats will go up depending on the item. Like the spike shield gives +4, I believe. Yeah, +4 to every side. And here's one of the crutches I have with the game. The progression system in general, it's not necessarily bad. It's just a system, or it's implemented in a way I personally am annoyed by. I'm someone who, like, my mind is always about optimizing things. I like doing things optimally, spending resources optimal, for example, or equipping items optimally and stuff like that. This game forces you to not do it optimally, because if you try to do it optimally, you would save up your resources, for example, for the better items, which will not be possible. Because the game, like, you will get stuck in a campaign, basically, because your cards are just not strong enough. You need to get more cards with the packs. There's the same issue there, because you, like, let's go to the market really quick to explain it on the example. So there's 4 different cards of packs of cards, and the best way, or the most optimal way, is probably, as in most card games, collectible card games, to save enough money, or juice in this case, to buy the best pack. But if you try to do so, you will just find yourself in a situation where you are completely stuck in a campaign because you're not even close like close enough to be close to being strong enough to beat the next mission. So you have to, like, I decided to buy a bronze pack, for example, which allowed me to succeed and get a little further than before. But yeah, I had to spend the money, and if I wouldn't had, I would be pretty close to a golden pack right now, because as you can see, 630 plus 535, that would be 1165, which would be pretty close to a golden pack. So that's kind of annoying, but it's a personal crutch by me. As I said, I don't like being forced into suboptimal decisions, basically. That's not, as mentioned, not necessarily a problem with the system, though, but it's just like a mindset of me. But the thing is that I believe that there are a bunch of people who think similar to me. Not everybody, obviously, but a bunch of people will, and those people will probably be annoyed by the system as well, which makes it important to mention. Let's put it that way. Okay, so that's the Smith and the market. Well, in the market you can buy more things. You can buy cards directly if you want to. It will just give you the same screen as the book on the wizard. You can buy them for juice. And you can buy other things as well. That's the wizard. That's not the market. There we go. You can buy materials as well directly. Or you can go to the Smith from here. As mentioned, for some reason, that's not its own building. It's in the market. But yeah, you can buy those equipments as well. I think I mentioned that already. Okay, so this progression system and the resources look a little bit like a free-to-play game, right? Well, the reason for that is that the whole game is, well, calling it simply a mobile port would not be entirely fair, because it's based on a mobile game, which is very similar, but it's kind of remade. So there are a bunch of improvements, like technically, and the business model got completely reworked, and other features are changed as well. So the mobile version is a free-to-play version, which with 2 different currencies, plus crafting materials and stuff like that. And they decided to completely redo it for the Steam version, which will cost $3 on release, and has only 1 resources juice, and all the costs rebalanced to make it appropriate for like non-microtransaction game. A non-microtransaction game, yeah. So, yeah, that's about that. However, you will notice that it is a mobile port at in a lot of different screens. So, for example, there's no option menu. There's only this mute button over here. No option menu whatsoever besides that. The game will just launch in full screen mode with whatever resolution your monitor is set to. No sound sliders, no resolution options, no window mode, no nothing, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, and also, wait, which screen was? Ah, yeah, the achievement screen. There are achievements which give you rewards as well. And if you try to scroll it with the mouse wheel, it works, but it's very slow. And it properly works if you touch it, or if you slide it as you would with a touch screen. So yeah, mobile port again. Not having a scroll bar here, basically, is the mobile port of this. I appreciate, though, that they actually added scrolling with the mouse wheel here. I think they should speed it up, but that's a simple fix. But at least they put it in here. So it's not like a completely no-effort port. There are definitely mouse controls here, but it's not perfect yet, or not even close to being perfect. The other weird situation is, in the book, if I remember correctly, yeah. If you click on a card, if you click on a card and you slide, it works. There's no horizontal scroll bar here, again, and no other way of scrolling those cards than by clicking on them. If you click between the cards, here or here, sliding will not do anything, which is weird. I think that should not be the case at all. So, yeah, you can only slide it by clicking on the cards, actually, which is very strange to me. But, yeah, I guess. That's pretty minor, but I wanted to mention it. It's not a perfect mobile port, not even close. The last feature I didn't explain yet is the arena, which in the mobile port is actually like a daily challenge thing, and in the Steam version is a PvP thingy, which is coming soon. I'm not sure if this means coming when the game actually goes into early access, or coming when the game is released early 2017. That's the plan anyway. So yeah, not there yet, but will come soon, hopefully. And that's all of that. So let's actually play another round so you get a little bit more gameplay. And I'm going to show you the deck building and stuff like that. So this is the deck building. There's no way of like save multiple different decks or something. Not really necessary either though, because the deck building is fairly straightforward. You pick your strongest cards and you put them in there. And you usually, or at least that's what I discovered, is you usually don't want to fill up your deck with crap cards. If you don't have, if all the cards you have left in your collection are crappy, then don't put them in a deck whatsoever. If you have like at least 11 cards or something along those lines, because crap cards are actually really dangerous because you will put them on the board. You're probably not able to capture a card with it, but your opponent will be able to capture this card, which gives him a victory point. So yeah, crap cards are super dangerous. You usually just want to avoid them, and like I take the risk of having too few cards. Because all the cards I could put in there are pretty shite. But there was one of the aliens which looked a little better. No, that's in there already. Yeah, this one is weak. We have these in there, which are fairly strong, but yeah. Okay, one more thing, equipping items. You can actually sort it by lifetime, I believe, and strength. Is that correct? This is sorting by... kind of by lifetime. Not really, though. I'm actually not sure what this is sorting by. Maybe rarity? Level? I don't know. I have no clue. And this is sorting by strength. So there's a weaker... Actually, I don't know by which strength it sorts. I don't know what those sorting thingies do. I never use them because they're not really necessary. At least not yet, because I get all my cards here. Again, there is small scrolling here, or you can drag and slide. So, and the mouse scrolling here is quick enough, so that works. Okay, I want to talk about equipping weapons. So, weapons, not only is it like forces the game you to craft weapons suboptimally, because you're getting stuck if you're trying to save up all your resources for the better weapons and shields, obviously. But also, it is suboptimally to equip weapons for the most part, because like let's select a card we want to equip with a weapon. Let's pick, I don't know. Maybe this guy, and we want to equip him with this shield. Actually, let's maybe pick someone else, someone with the weak side. Well, he has weak side. Oh, we could go for the alien. Oh, that's probably pretty strong. Yeah, let's give the alien the shield. So we can give the alien the shield, and we can press equip now, which I'm gonna do. But now there is no way to unequip this shield. So we can go to equip screen again, but we cannot unequip it anymore. So it's bound to that card. Or at least I couldn't figure out how to do it, but I don't think there's a way of actually unequipping it. And this is suboptimal because eventually you want to merge this card with two others of the same card into a more advanced card. And at that point, all the equipped items will get lost. So yeah, you're kind of forced to equip your cards, because if you don't, you get stuck in a campaign. But at the same time, this will actually waste those items later on because you merge the cards, and this will lose you the items. Which again is not necessarily wrong or bad, but it annoys myself for quite a bit. Okay, so let's play one more match and see if we can win this. So he played a pretty weak alien, which is a good start for us. We could take it with a dog, which is one of our weakest cards. But even if he takes it, it has two weak sides, which should allow us to get it back. However, it makes also the alien, it was a pretty good play, because he will be able to take it back, whatever I do, because it still has the 4 down here. So this is not great, because he has a lot of attack opportunities, and he played a perfect card to screw me over, because I'm not able to attack this thing whatsoever. This card is really strong. I want it. So maybe we protect the dog? That's not really gonna work, though. Because, like, it still has an open side. So I guess we just play something defensively. Maybe the robot up here. No, actually I don't want to play something next to the robot dog, because then I can take it back if he takes it. Or when he takes it. Because he will. So I guess we play the arm. Maybe down here. Maybe over here. Because then it's almost impossible for him to take it. If we put it here, he can take it via the 11. Elf. Elf is the German word for 11, sorry. Let's put the arm here, which is kind of a waste because it's one of our strongest cards. But, yeah, okay. Let's take back the dog now. Probably. Or take the orc. Taking the dog is kind of risky. Let's see. Taking the orc is even more risky, actually, or similar. Actually, we can take the orc from below, maybe, but this makes it easier for him to take it back. Well, actually, no, it makes it harder for him to take it back. Let's take the orc from the below, because then we can get a good defense to the right side of the card. So we play the orc here. There we go. This explodes, and he actually takes it from the right, which is good because this means we can take it from the left. But let's actually try to get this thing back first by placing the elemental down here. Yeah. And now we are potentially in a situation where we can take 2 cards. With the alien, for example. There we go. That's what I was looking for. He takes 2 back. That's bad. But maybe we get another double here. 7 and 5, both pretty low. Yeah, we can take it with this. We can take it with this. Okay. I think we play the machine thingy. Killer machine. Killer robot. Whatever. And that actually ends the game because the board is filled up. And we win. Cool, that worked. And we get a bunch of rewards. And there we go. So, that's it. That's Kaboom Monsters. Let's talk a little bit about the gameplay as well, because I actually didn't critique that yet. I like the core mechanics. It's a cool idea. It actually creates a lot of interesting situations with interesting decisions. It's not like... It's very basic though. It's not built upon. The thing is, it's more depth, or it's more deep than you think when you play it for the first few minutes. Like, it looks really simple, but the more you play it, the more interesting strategies and tactics you discover, which, yeah, the game is a little bit more deep than you think in the first few minutes, as mentioned. And as I said, I like the core mechanics. It's cool. It makes you think. It has some interesting ideas and stuff like that. However, it's not built upon at all. Like, it's just what you saw there. Like, you place cards and you swap over other cards, and that's it. And there we go. Nothing else. Nothing besides that, which is very unfortunate. What I would like to see are, like, special skills on monsters. For example, I don't know, gain 1 extra victory point, decrease the lifetime of another card, destroy a card, I don't know, decrease the lifetime of all other cards, or give another card, like an adjacent card, a buff to its defense values, or I don't know, something along those lines, something crazy. Maybe even non-monster cards like spells, which do something. Not sure if that would fit though, but like monsters with special effects, I think that would be really, really cool. Also, the weapons and shields could be more interesting because they only give you attacking or like offensive or defensive stat boosts, and that's it. Could be more interesting as well with some special effects or something along those lines. So yeah, and maybe there could be like special effects on the boards, or boards of different shapes, maybe something like that. Actually, they mentioned in the early access description text that they want to add multiple boards. I'm not sure if this was referring to like multiple different art styles, like different backgrounds for the board, or actually different play boards with different rules. So they maybe improve upon this, but yeah. Right now it's fairly simple, or not simple, but fairly limited. Like, it's like most matches are similar because of that, because there's no crazy things going on. It's, yeah, the most intense thing you're gonna see is getting a triple card swap, or I had 1 quadruple swap at one point. Well, that's pretty unusual. But it can happen. It usually wins you the game. So that's pretty cool. But in general, yeah, as said, it's very limited, and that can be a good design philosophy. Like, especially if you're making an indie game, keeping your game as limited as possible and focusing on your core ideas and your core concept. But I think in this case, the core concept is actually has too small of a scope. It's too limited and doesn't allow for enough interesting decisions to occur. So I think building upon it and building upon its strengths. So, for example, as mentioned earlier, maybe adding spells would not be a great idea, because I think part of the core concept is that every card is a monster card, and I think it would change the game pretty drastically if you would change that, which might work if you do it correctly, but might also backfire a lot. But I think adding special effects to cards, like extra skills, would improve the game in most situations if you don't like screw up the skills completely, obviously. So yeah, I would like to see something like that, but I find it unlikely that this is going to get implemented during the early access, but it might. You never know. That's early access. So overall, I kind of recommend the game and kind of don't. If you like the game, like if you like the core gameplay, and that's enough for you to play it for a while, and especially if you can stomach the progression system, which as mentioned before, personally for me is very annoying, but it's not necessarily bad in general. But if you are like simple-minded, yeah, similarly minded to me, like if a similar like tendency is me to optimize everything and hate to do suboptimal decisions, suboptimal things, then it's probably gonna annoy you as well. So yeah, this is a reason not to pick up the game. But the core gameplay is pretty cool. And yeah, there's a single player campaign, which is always great for an indie game, because as mentioned earlier, multiplayer focused games usually tend to die out fairly quickly, so that's a problem. But they will add multiplayer as well on top of that, which is cool, I guess. Doesn't hurt. And yeah, the thing is, you can decide to either pick this game up for $3 on Steam or wait for a sale for even less, or maybe for full release and not picking up the early access version, or you just download it for free on your phone and play it on a toilet or on a train, because I think that's actually a pretty good way of playing this game. Yeah, you only have to stomach the free-to-play model in that case, obviously, but it's free though. So, I guess that's the idea of a free-to-play model, right? Yeah. Anyway, so it's called Kaboom Monsters. It's going to be in early access on the 7th of July. I am TH Pine. Thanks a lot for watching. Have fun and see you next time.